Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome. What is going on this wonderful Sunday early afternoon for another episode of the Metabreaking Podcast, brought to you by, of course, super high octane ultimate legend player, mage extraordinaire, DmoneyGames, and of course, and always here, holding both Warglaives of Azenos every day of the week, your boy, your homie, your demon hunter master, DracoCatt, and I plays great decks all the time too. Great at nothing. Warshack. What's going on, guys? How's your weekend been?
Amazing. Pretty chill, I guess. Yeah. Quarantini, you know. What about you, Dan?
It's been great. Just I've had some really great streams lately and just having fun with Hearthstone. I know what you're thinking. How is that possible? But I'm finding a way.
Yeah. I think it's fun again because the meta got real changed up again this week. You know, there was some new decks that are the best, some old decks that aren't, and it was interesting, honestly, for a couple of days. You know, we had that Masters tour where they were all playing the new decks, which was way too fast since the nerfs came out. So that was interesting to watch. It's been a good week for Hearthstone.
Yeah, you know, we saw some crazy decks being brought in the Masters tour. Like we saw some Libram Paladin. I saw, like pure Libram Paladin, and then I saw some Zulok. There, everyone was running a bunch of different things. Like the players only got a couple days to test out these decks, so and find the most optimal lineup. So it was pretty interesting to see what they brought.
Well, Paladins clearly had a resurgence this week as well, so they're second.
Yeah, that's pretty steep increase, and Druid took a dumpers.
But you know, also Demon Hunter has fallen to number 3 for the first time since the expansion released.
It was like number 6, like yesterday. Honestly, I looked at it and it was at like 48% at one point this week, and I thought that was really, really interesting. But I guess now it's bouncing a little bit back up, so it's at 50% again, which is interesting.
I mean, we've seen that before, right? Where the Demon Hunter, I mean, it's happened, 4 times now, where the Demon Hunter gets nerfed. People switch out of the deck that don't feel that comfortable with it. People like you, Draco, continue to play the deck because you know it's good and you enjoy it. You build refined versions, you start winning, those decks get popular, everybody who left Demon Hunter jumps back onto Demon Hunter with these refined decks, and then the win rate starts to climb again.
I think you just actually, I think you killed it, man. I think you hit it right on the nose. I think that's exactly what happens, but damn, dude, you're smart, Rob. Shit.
Yeah, so you might be asking yourself, why is Paladin so high? Well, it has to deal with that Hunter being so high up, because the biggest counter to Hunter at the moment seems to be Murloc Paladin, because they're able to just spam the board so quickly that Hunter is just not able to deal with it, and they just get overwhelmed and they lose the game. So, like, I face a not too many, but like a decent amount of Murloc Paladin in my rank. It's either Murloc Paladin or Hunter. So it's pretty interesting just watching it all go down, and just playing a different class and just seeing the same 2 classes over and over. It's not that fun, but it's cool to see Paladin coming back, and especially Murlocs that have been dead for this whole expansion to come back here.
Yeah, I think people are running Tide Callers, man. This is a good meta. Like I've seen some Tide Callers on ladder in Legend, you know. So that's pretty nuts. Murlocs do seem to be everywhere. Yeah, I think that Sungill card is actually really good. And I didn't think it was at first because it's you can't do anything with the stats when they come out and it's just wide. But when you're playing like Hunter against that Paladin deck, there's pretty much no efficient way to deal with those things. They're scary because each one of them is a Toxfin magnet for everything. Yeah, deck's cool.
Yeah, and then they get to play it on turn 1, right? Which means it pops on turn 3, and then there's that beautiful Murloc that gives all your Murlocs +2 health that always comes down on 3, right? So, or War Leader. So even if like you do have a couple minions on board, they're gonna get, they're gonna die or they're gonna get buffed, and then you have that nice turn 4 Murloc that gives +1/+1. So it's just like they curve out so well, and they curve out so well because every card in the deck it caps out at 5 mana or 6 mana or something like that. Like there's no really expensive card in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I think
it's crazy.
I
love it.
think Dormant. I think this kind of just shows how undervalued Dormant is. I feel like Dormant is just so strong because your opponent cannot interact with it, and when that thing pops, then you're looking pretty good. And it's the same thing with like Imprisoned Vilefiend, where everybody thought it would be really bad, and then it turned out to be really good, just because, like in Priest, it can pop, and then you get to put an Apotheosis on it before your opponent even gets to act, or Grave Runes or something like that. So I think just the dormant effect is just super powerful, and it allows for combos like that. And we're seeing it in Paladin. We saw it in Priest, and maybe we could see it somewhere else too.
The dormant transfer student is so good. At like against aggro, like where that new card that when it's on the Ashes of Outlands board, it's dormant for 2 turns and then does 3 damage to 2 random opponent minions. So like everything they have to play on the board on that, which is pretty important for every aggro deck on turn like 3 and 4. They have to think about the fact that it could just get randomly removed because of a 2-drop, which is ridiculous. But yeah, crazy card. I can't wait to talk about it later. So sorry, I was just thinking about that when we were talking about dormant. Was that was one of the best roles for transfer student.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing against any other matchup, it's not good. Like if you're playing against, I mean, if you're playing against like a druid and you have that in your hand for turn 2, like it's not going to do anything. Or you're playing against maybe a warrior. I don't know. Maybe it does just prevent your opponent from putting things on the board too, which is pretty nice. So I think all the transfer student abilities are pretty good. Even the plague one could be insane in a lot of situations. Like some of these plagues that you get, whether it be Plague of Flames or even Plague of Madness to push like through a taunt or something. There's a lot of cool possibilities, and the card's really good.
No, yeah, I was playing the transfer student and my big control shaman, very viable deck, and it gave me the priest plague, and like so I had 2 earthquakes, 2 Hagathis schemes, 2 lightning storms, and now a priest plague, and I was playing against the poor little druid, and no matter what he seemingly tried to do with his little trees and his little flies and his little girl who sells mounts, it just wasn't enough. So I like transfer student a lot. The card. It's different every game, which like adds spice. So you have like different ways to utilize it based on what board state you get. So I don't know. I think the card is really cool.
Yeah, it's won me games. The transfer student. I got a Plague of Death, like the priest clear in Highlander Hunter one time, and I was playing a Highlander Hunter mirror, and my opponent did his like Alex turn and the coined out and put all 3 things on the board on like turn like I don't know like 11 or 12. Like he DQA'd and then played all of the minions. And then I could Plague of Death his, and then that ended up winning the game because he had like no cards left at that point in like a Hunter mirror. It was weird, but that card is nuts that it can just make those kind of things happen. I should never have had a point where I could Plague of Death in a Hunter deck. That's ridiculous, but I love it. Do you want to just jump into the next segment, which was Masters Tour, which just happened? Kick it off.
Yeah, do we have a segment on that, or are we just going to talk about it? Because I only see the meta in the chat.
I think we're just going to talk about it.
Yeah, I think we're just going to breeze over it. But if you guys did not know, last night, Letta won the Masters Tour of Asia Pacific, I believe. And he was representing the Italian peoples. And
wow, that's pretty good, dude. The Italian.
I don't have anything too much on it, but it was a good series to watch. He was against Alutema, who is a GM, and after winning this, it looks like Letta's going to become a GM himself. And they both played really well. There was one point where he was playing against Malagos, the quest lock, and he could have set his opponent to 6 health to play around like a Malagos Rain of Fire, and he did not, and that lost him that game. And it was looking like maybe it could go the other way, but he turned out he just pulled through, got the last 2 wins with his Hunter and Rogue. It was a good watch, so I recommend watching that back. And Yeah, it was exciting stuff. The top 8 was really stacked with a lot of really good players. So it was cool to see them playing at the highest level, even though I see it every day. Whatever.
What time was
But
the final? Like live? Was it like
it was,
last night at like 5 a.m.?
yeah, I think it ended at like 4:30 a.m. or something
Did you
Eastern time.
watch it?
Wow.
I did,
The whole
yeah.
shit,
No,
dude.
just the last match.
Okay. I was gonna say, man, damn.
I have a question. As an inexperienced tournament person, so if you're in the Masters Tour, do you need to come in first place to become a Grandmaster, or they pull from the top 4? How does that work? How do you ascend from a Master to a Grandmaster?
I think they take the like top. It's the top money earners. I think like the people with the most money earned within like the year. I think pretty sure.
They use that as the point system with the wins within the Masters Tour, since they usually keep the monetary rewards the same. So like if you win second twice on 2 Masters Tours, you might have more points when they go to pull the next Grandmaster after the following Masters Tour than the person who actually wins first. So then like sometimes that person who finished second consecutively will get the Master spot from finishing second in another tournament before a person who wins first actually becomes a Grandmaster.
So first does not guarantee Grandmaster.
No.
Okay.
But it's
all
damn
based off
lot
of
of points
points.
towards.
Okay. Understood. And then once you are a Grandmaster, sorry if these questions are dumb, can you play in Masters Tours? Because I read a tweet and it was like there's like 2 Grandmasters in the Masters Tour. And I was like, wait, what? I thought once you're a Grandmaster, like you just play in the Grandmasters Tour and you don't really do qualifiers or Masters Tours.
It's encouraged for them to do so.
I'm pretty
To
sure you're
continue
like
playing.
fighting to keep that spot, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just worried about points, right? That's all you care about is just these points.
Those points are a lot of money though too. So like these guys, like like when Tice like comes to like compete in a tournament and he finishes like with whatever he does, he did just walk away with like $5,000 to $10,000 for finishing wherever he did in the top 8. So yes, they are doing it for points. The clout of saying they won still.
Okay.
But at the same time, they're also bringing home a lot of money and they're damn good at the game. So why not?
Okay, yeah.
Right.
I just didn't know if you're a Grandmaster that like you no longer are able to do the Master stuff to allow people who haven't a spot.
Well, you actually, if you're a Grandmaster, you automatically qualify for the Masters tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So free $850 at least, just for being a GM. Yeah.
Okay, well, that must be nice.
Yeah, so they do give you money just for doing it. So I guess to them, like competing in it when you get a free qualification, it's honestly like they play this game and get money pretty much regardless. So it seems like a no-brainer, I would say, for majority of them.
Yeah, I had no idea they just slide into those DMs like that and get that 850 bingo bucks with the chance to win more and get more points. Wow.
Yeah,
them competing in it is what makes it exciting too, right? Because like seeing the big names in the finals against these other people you haven't seen, that's the content that people want to watch and cast and stuff, right? The more big names, the better.
So. I also something funny that I saw was that there was a tweet about Ostkaka. That Ostkaka brought like 4 decks that were like horrible. Like he had like Chillwind Yetis in there, and just like he threw in just like any card, just like meme decks, just to get his $850, and that was it. So you have players like that, and then you also have players that are really taking it seriously. So that was pretty funny to see. It seems like he gave up, but
that's funny.
Dude, that is hilarious. It's just like, all right, well, I would like $1,000. All right, what gets me $1,000? Yo, these Chillwind Yetis look chill, dude.
I just have a good time. Just play some cards. Who cares if you lose? Whatever.
Love it.
Yeah, that probably doesn't shine too bright in Blizzard's eyes, to be honest.
Probably not.
I can't imagine many people that would think what he did was cool.
No, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like a I don't really care anymore kind of thing to do, but he's did his thing.
Even the people that like really love Hearthstone and like probably like support him as like a person who's like a great player, probably like, fuck, dude, like, come on, like.
Well, it's a difference if you like bring actual like meme decks that like don't have chill. You know what I mean? There's like the meme decks that work sometimes, but they're obviously not as good. Then there's just like clearly playing bad cards because you just don't care. Like if you would have brought Brig Shaman, you would have probably done exactly the same bad, but people would have been like, Big Shaman Ostaka, you're great. Thank you so much for spicing my life up. But he took the not so spicy route. Even though Chill Yetis are kind of spicy. Do we want to move to the segment that everybody wants, loves, and desires?
We got to get through a lot, so let's go.
Yeah, we do have to get through a lot. All right, guys, where do we want to start? At the bottom of the top.
Let's start on the bottom. The bottom sounds fun.
Ah, the bottom. You can't just change it like that.
Draco's a bottom.
Yeah. He said bottom. Bottom it is. Draco's a bottom.
Fuck. Shondo, Wild Claw. Choose one. Give beasts in your deck +1/+1, or transform into a copy of a friendly beast on a 3-mana 3/3.
So
I think this card is good.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Highlander Hunter, right? And then you look at, like, the first thing is King Crush. So it's for 10 mana, you do 16 damage.
Yeah, at first glance, I thought that it would just turn into a 3/3 copy, but people are saying it's just a copy. And I was like, oh, well, this card's a little busted then. Okay.
You could follow up a Zixor with another Zixor.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the pre-prime one. So you get 2 primes.
Ah, yeah.
You know,
but then that ruins the Highlander if they both die.
You could copy a Huffer for extra smork.
No, there's a lot of uses to this card. It's very versatile. And I'm sure we'll see more beasts too. And it can be not only a hunter card, but it's druid cards, right? So you could copy like Wing Guardian for big druid. So I'm
sure that'll make me quit a lot of games. Thank you, Rob. With a second, my opponent makes another 3-mana Winged Guardian on the board or something like that. That will be super awful.
You don't like 3-mana 6/8 taunt reborn, can't be targeted by hero powers or spells. Yo, Wing Guardian Leviosa is a very fantastic card.
I like the concept of turn 10 Bran into Shondo into 16 face damage, but I don't like the concept of my opponent getting another Winged Guardian. Like, because that
Leviosa.
Looking like a true demon hunter.
Yes.
Health doesn't matter.
And also, Quest Druid.
That is pretty crazy.
Quest Druid?
Yeah, because it's choose one effect. So you get the beast, the +1/+1, and you get to copy the beast.
That's true. Yeah, I think people are paying a lot of attention to the transform into a copy, but I mean, like the +1/+1 is not anything to laugh at. You know, that's pretty serious deal for 3 mana for a 3/3.
Yeah. And then
show me a beast draw card, and then I'm sold. You know what I mean? Like any card that draws cards with beasts for any of these classes, and then that works. But until then, it sucks. Like, because that's the problem, right? Master's Call is what made that work.
Okay, hold the phone here. Embiggen, right? And then you have this, and then you have the new Druid card that gives +4/+4, and then since this copies a minion, you could also play Elise, you could run Stone Tusk Boars. So you could play the Elise, copy the Boars, and then this could copy a Boar, and then they're all buffed because of the 3/3. There's an OTK Boar combo here, isn't there, chat? Hold the phone.
Oh my god.
There is some Quest OTK Elise Boar combo here. This is going to be good.
At least to copy those things too, you know. So more decks, more buffs to your deck if you want. If you want to just bang.
They need to ban Boar. They need to get him out of the meta. They need to Hall of Fame the Boar because of this right here. This is next level shit. I'm telling you.
I'm waiting for it.
I feel like there's probably going to be some way Boar is used with these cards in the future, or someone will try it.
I'm gonna try it. I'm on it. I'm on the case.
Yeah, so you're talking about the 10 mana card that does the +4/+4 thing.
Yeah,
that's not on the Blizzard website.
It's a leak.
It was supposedly leaked. I'm not completely sold that it's real, but like I'm kind of hoping it's not.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's on the internet.
That card is going to be like a really not feel good way to lose games if it's really good. You know what I mean? Like
it's going to be good because you play Sunstrider and then it costs 0 mana. Like, why pay 10 when you can cost 0?
Everything in your deck is +4/+4 and on the field.
Yeah, and in your hand.
In your hand.
Yeah,
like,
and it's not like druids have 0 mana spells that combo with Sunstrider, so it's not like it'll be hard.
Any perspective you're on, other than the perspective that does that, if it's good, is going to make people upset. You know, like it's just insane. You know, if that works, like it's a really feel bad. It's like
But if you're the druid,
like
feel good.
Druid already had like some pretty big ways to close out the game, like Ysera and Malagos. But now, yeah, when it starts getting close to turn 10, not even for the Druid, because they played Overgrowth and stuff like that, and not even close to turn 10. I mean, they can Lightning Bloom to get extra mana crystals that turn. It's seeming to be a little crazy for an end game thing. I was thinking like something like an Embiggen deck with strength in numbers, and you run the Lightning Blooms and you get out that card potentially on like turn 5 or 6. Yeah, it could be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm jumping a little ahead, but
then you can copy your 14/14 Wing Guardian with this.
Yes, absolutely, and then it gets Reno'd.
yes.
All right, so we will classify this card as probably most likely very good.
There's like way too many ways for it not to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's got like 9 things it could do to make a deck better. So it's flexible. It'll be used.
All right. We got this Wand Thief here. 1 mana, 1/2 combo. Discover a mage spell, and it is a dual class mage/rogue card. First off, wands in World of Warcraft are very powerful. So, I know.
Hopefully there's a wand weapon, right? Super cool.
That would be very cool.
That's actually, yeah.
So cool. I was just talking. So I think this is auto include in every rogue deck because it's like sick. It's like a DracoCatt that has a better upside to it. But you just don't play it on one, right? But it's a combo enabler. So even if you do play it, you can think like, all right, I care more about my Miscreants combo than my Wand Thieves combo. So I'm going to Wand Thief Miscreant, or vice versa if you're looking for something particular. So that kind of nonsense going on in Rogue is exactly what they're all about. I was talking about to D-Money whether or not you would run this as a one of in Highlander, and he was saying that he doesn't know. But we were just talking about the fact that if a lot of turns you play like a secret on turn 4, you could throw it on afterwards to maybe look for another card to bank for another turn. And that'd be like the most common way that it would be used in Highlander Mage. But I don't know if it's worth a card slot. That was where we kind of ended.
Yeah, I mean, the body itself is really not great. It doesn't really fit in with the whole Highlander Mage persona. And I feel like this would only be run if you're playing like a more tempo-oriented mage deck. I mean, maybe a tempo Highlander could work, but yeah, I don't really see this as a mage card. I just see it as a rogue card purely. I feel like you would rather run just a card that you want to run. Especially since I'm expecting some really powerful cards to come out here, so I don't know if you really have room for it. I don't know if you necessarily need the extra discover, you know. I think it might be just difficult to get off in general too.
Yeah, I agree with you, D-Money. I look at this and I see a better rogue card than it is a mage card. Because now rogues can use Yogg-Box. And that's a good card. Also, they can find the burn. So now they have, abysses that, they have, but now they can discover fireballs and frostbolts and all kinds of stuff like that. So it might give rogues a little bit more reach than they had. And it also competes with DracoCatt, which I think is healthy because now you have like 2 turn 1 alternatives. You know what I mean? You have like some sort of like right now DracoCatt's an auto included to rogue, right? But now you have Wand Thief, so it's like, would you either have the Wand Thief or do you want the DracoCatt? And I like having options for like different mana slots because I don't like being pigeonholed into having to build a deck a certain way because it's just strictly that's a great 1-drop. Gotta play it, right? So I think that's good. Another one, I like Front of Power. So if you start with Front of Power and it discovers this, you can play this immediately and get another spell from the Front of Power for only 2 mana. You got to play a minion right away. So I think with the no minion mage, this is a buff to that deck.
This is great for that deck. That's a really good point. This is a card that you can play early on that's going to help like with the long game wing plan and spell mage. So that's a really good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so I like
what you're
this.
saying about I like your point about the burn for rogue. I could definitely see this being run in like an aggressive rogue. Whether you run 1 or 2, I'm not sure, but having that potential for the extra burst, like a pyroblast and rogue, that sounds kind of insane. So
Yeah, and you can even help it with the secret guy. So you can find a mage secret, and it now helps you with the rogue guy who, when you play a secret, makes another one. Granted, that's maybe not the best line, but it adds more synergies to the deck. If you don't have the correct cards in your hand, you can find them. So I think this card's very good.
Imagine using it when you're ahead with rogue, and then pulling a conjurer's calling, and then smacking something on the board with it. Like, that'll just be amazing for like rogue players to like grab a conjurer's calling, like just like make their board like way bigger and then just like end the turn, like with just something simple like that. I can't wait.
Yeah,
that'll be great.
I think this is an auto include in
Rogue.
Highlander Rogue for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
for sure.
Should be interesting. We can move on to the next card. Yeah.
Okay.
We got a lot to go through here.
Yeah, we do. Rattlegore. 9 mana.
Stat bomb.
9/9. Yeah. Death Rattle resummon this minion with -1/-1. So I believe in total stats,
45,
if you were to kill this
45.
card. Yeah, 45.
Yeah, this card sucks.
Hey, you calm yourself, okay? You can't
Dude,
just state things like that.
We talked about this before the stream. Sometimes I just say things to elicit a reaction. So
I didn't.
This is going to come out of Conjurer's Calling now. This is going to happen, and it's going to be really bad for people. D-Money's going to love it. You know, he's going to be like, bam, let's hit this 9-drop. All right, we got a Rattlegore. No big deal, whatever. You know, that's going to happen all the time now. This card is, when it comes out randomly, is going to ruin games. But it's so hard to deal with. You just need to polymorph it, right? But you need a devolving missiles it, right? That would work.
Well, Warshack, let's hear what you think about this card, because you're the you love yourself some control warrior, right?
Yeah. What you got?
Yeah. So
Not
when I
prepared.
see this card, like, it's a very powerful ability. It's just really slow, right? So how do you turn this into like something that gets value either immediately or makes it harder for your opponent to win? Because when you play this, that turn you do nothing else, right? And normally when you play a card for a lot of mana, it has some sort of immediate impact. So 2 things that happen. We somehow give this guy taunt, or we give this guy rush. We have to give this guy something to be able to do something immediately to get some sort of value. So unless there's a way to give this guy rush, that warrior, whether like you have a weapon that will summon a minion from your hand and give it rush, or we'll get another card like Dimensional Ripper, pull a card from your deck, or summon a minion from your hand and give it rush, this card then becomes very viable. But if there's nothing to like give this guy some sort of something,
Boom Reaver.
this card sucks by itself. Boom Reaver is a great example of a card that would be good with this. The problem is, in my opinion, Dimensional Ripper should have also give minions rush when they get summoned. It's like totally like weird, because the Boomsday card that summoned the minions from your hand, 3 of them, and gave them rush. The Boom Reaver gives it rush, but then the Dimensional Ripper doesn't. So it was kind of like that card should give rush. But anyway, this card needs to do
These
something.
cards are both from Rise of Shadows, but Rob is right in their inconsistency.
Yeah.
I think this card is still just good to play on turn 9. I mean, if you're playing warrior, I'm sure you're going to be having a lot of armor, so you should be okay to drop a 9, like a minion like this, and say go ahead. I would think.
Yeah.
Typically.
But in a meta like this, like, you would never play this card right now. So like, warrior needs either more support to live longer, or it needs some way to make this guy do something when he comes out.
I mean, you have the lackeys from Livewire Lance. You could get a rush lackey, something like that.
But then you have to wait till turn 10.
Sure.
So I'm thinking a weapon or a spell or some way to cheat this guy out. Then he's playable.
You think
whenever
he's not
this comes out of
playable
nowhere,
without
like, sorry.
Sorry.
I think with the current pool of cards that we have right now, he would not see very much play. But if we get more stuff that gives him support, then yeah.
You know, I think quite the opposite. I think that this card would be insane right now, mostly because that there's really not a lot of options for neutral silence. Like there's only a few classes that really have access to silence, like unless you run an owl. So I feel like them printing this card, they have to come out with some kind of silence in the next expansion. Like there has to be more neutral silence or just silence cards in general, or else this card is going to be impossible to deal with. Like if polymorph and hex are your only options, besides owl, then I don't know.
I mean, you have Zephyrus in decks. You have people running Priest. Sure. Priest has very viable options with the board clears, the mind control. Sure. I mean, Renew fine stuff. You could use Soul Mirror, kill him, get your own.
Scary.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of
classes. There's other classes that just actually don't have access to silence, like Warlock, for example, and they would have to run like an owl, and that sucks.
Yeah.
So, I feel like this card is just super strong, unless it's still going to be strong even if they print them. But I feel like without those silences, I don't think this card could be printed. I'm assuming that there's got to be neutral silences and neutral heals coming out as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, all classes are going to have their pros and cons. So if you look at like Warlock, which has, right now not a great way to deal with this. Sure, it's terrible against Warlock, but like Warlock can kill somebody from 30 health without actually ever attacking them with a minion. So Warlock can still do some pretty nutty things regardless of like a single minion like Rattlecore. But yeah, I agree.
I think this card's most impactful if it just being in the 9-drop pool. Because whenever things accidentally evolve, mutate, and turn into this, or it becomes a random thing that comes out of something in the game, or like Xerox Crown and Rogue and shit, like that is going to be like, that'll be really scary. But that is primarily where I think this card will be the most impactful. I don't really agree that you would run it really in Warrior, but whenever it pops up, it's probably going to really ruin some lives. So
yeah,
well, I think the crown is only from Rogue and Neutral, so I don't.
Yeah, it is. That's not a good example, but yeah.
But yeah, just want to clarify. Okay.
Cheating him out, basically. Any way to cheat this guy out, he's really good. But if okay. It'll be interesting to see where Warrior goes, because right now this is like a kind of funky card for it at the moment, given what Warrior is doing.
Yeah, under Smosh on that might be cool. Just saying.
Oh my god.
5/5, 4/4.
But that would make it into a 4/4, I guess. Right.
Who knows? It still would be annoying.
Would that become an 8/8 or would that become a 4/4?
Who knows?
Read the
We'd
card.
have to try it. We have to test it.
It should be 4/4, but you never know.
It should be a 4/4, yeah. Because he would get summoned as a 5-mana 5/5, and then its Death Rattle is resummoned with -1/-1. It doesn't say 7/7.
I mean, imagine being able to buff it though afterwards.
I don't know if it works that way. We gotta play with this thing. I don't know.
I think it does. I think that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah.
If you buff it, it's just always lives.
That's interesting. Just saying.
So like Rampage and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to think about. Nature Studies. 1 mana, discover a spell. Your next one costs 1 less. I got a big problem with this card.
Yeah, this is just insane. It's as if Thick Girl and Druid needed something else,
Yeah, just playing this on turn 1 is just so you need to run 2 of these, like guaranteed. Like if you play it on turn 1, you get an Overgrowth, then you could play the Overgrowth a turn early, and it's pretty nutty. I mean, even if you get Wild Growth, it's still good. That's a turn 2 play. Like there's so many. You don't lose out on anything with this card. It's just positive regardless of what you get. It's super good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like cards that can keep discovering themselves. We've been over this with cards like Renew and things of that nature. And being able to nature studies into a nature studies into a nature studies, even if it's only 2 or 3, it's still more stuff that didn't really need to happen. So that's my number one complaint. And then also just like, it's just a broken card. Like it's basically just another auto include now, right?
Yeah.
And I don't like cards that just are auto includes. It's like, oh, gotta play this card. Like there's it's just yeah. But I do like the
what I'm
art.
saying. Like there's actually just like no downside.
Yeah.
They just made Druid better. Like that card just literally makes the class way better by existing, you know? It's just, let's make Druid better. Nature studies. There you go. Swallow that. Boom.
Yeah.
Every deck.
But the artwork is cool. I like the artwork a lot.
Yeah, I'd read that book.
For sure.
Yeah, might be interesting. All right, next one.
Yeah. Cards OP next. Oh man, this is a funky neutral card. 4 mana, 2/5, spell burst, deal 2 damage to all other minions. This is our first spell burst card, chat. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with spell burst, it's an ability at the first time which you play a spell with this card on the board. The spell burst trigger happens. It'll do 2 damage, and then that's it. It only occurs one time, and it's after you play a spell with the minion on board.
Yeah, so this is quite interesting because it's has the effect. It does do it to all other minions, so it'll hit your own minions. I think this is good. I think it's good overall. I mean, if we're seeing an aggressive meta, I think it'll be played. The stats are pretty nice. I just don't know what deck it would go into at the moment.
Islanders,
but
Islander decks that don't have access to AoE, like Rogue, Hunter, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Warlock.
I don't know. It seems okay. It's just you have to get that spell out there with it. So it has to be a 0-cost spell if you're gonna play it on turn 4, or else it's gonna be a little awkward. Like it's gonna be 5 mana, like probably at the best for a 2 damage AoE, which is like okay.
Libram Paladin, Pro just said in chat. I think that's a great, like, basically has a consecration built into it. I mean, granted, it's on your side, but Libram Paladin's a slow deck.
But I don't know if you need that. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
It's an interesting card. I feel like it's okay, but I don't know if this is actually going to see play. We'd have to see.
Maybe
more
an arena card. Okay. Yeah, interesting ability.
I don't know.
Definitely goes into.
I think it's bad. I think the only way that it'll actually see any play is the context of like the weird mind game it does if you play it against like an aggro opponent who has cards that it will remove, and you don't play a spell to follow up with it. So like you force your aggro opponent to remove it so that it doesn't kill other minions. That's the only way I can imagine it being like, or somehow you throw like a 1 of it in like a Galakron rogue deck so that you give your rogue deck an AoE with backstab. I don't know. But
well, Conjurer's Calling on a 4-drop, spell burst, and then play another Conjurer's Calling, deal 2 to everything on the board, and summon 2 new minions.
When does it like trigger? That's weird. I don't know if that.
Whenever you play a spell, it's not a battle cry.
It's after you play a spell. So I think if you conjures this, then you wouldn't get the spell burst.
Okay, sure. But what if like this gets randomly summoned is what I'm saying, and then you play a spell after that. So it could just be like another random thing that happens that like, all right, how do I clear this board, but I have no AoE in my hand? You know, maybe I can make a 4-drop and do some shenanigans with it.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it could mess you up. The fact that you get this from
something.
Then it clears your own stuff. Yeah,
that's Hearthstone, baby.
Yeah, that's Hearthstone. That's Hearthstone.
All right, so now we got Transfer Student, who we've seen. He's already in the game. So we don't really have to talk about him that much. We already talked about him, unless you guys want to say anything else.
I think he's good to put in all kinds of decks. I think if you're down 2 cards in a deck and you're not sure what to put in, I think Transfer Student's a fantastic card.
Yeah, it's coming to help you out. It's a nice Transfer Student. I love this card. It's so fun.
No, it is.
Knocked it out of the park.
This guy was interesting to me because I didn't really understand him. Kind of. It's a 2 mana 2/3 shaman card. Spell burst. Return the spell to your hand. So you just play a spell and it goes back. That's it.
Yeah, you get it back into your hand after you play it, but only the first spell that you play.
That's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's a card. It's really freaking good, and it's well statted too. So I don't see a reason to not run it. I mean, if you're playing it in aggro, it's really good. You get an extra rock biter, push extra damage with Doomhammer. If you're playing it in control, you get an extra Hagatha Scheme or Earthquake or whatever else they come out with. It's really good. Yeah, I think it's just an all around really good card. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
statted good. Like, if you're playing in a burn deck, you go, you play this guy, you go lightning bolt, you do 2 lightning bolts, right?
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's good in the burn, it's good in the value, statted well. There's literally no reason not to play this card.
Yeah, it's probably like going to be in every shaman deck now.
Yeah.
Another auto include. It just has. It honestly, like the spell burst effect kind of acts as a soft taunt too, even if you just tempo it out, because then your opponent will think like, okay, let me just clear this now so he doesn't get an extra lightning bloom or something.
Yeah, you could just coin this guy out on turn 1 or something, and then if your opponent doesn't deal with it, maybe you go off with something new that they come out with.
Oh my god! If you coin it out on turn 1 and lightning bloom, you get another lightning bloom into your hand, so you can play a 4-drop on turn 1, and on the side of a 2/3.
God.
Isn't that really disgusting?
I think you found
So
something.
1 lightning bloom and one of these guys on coin. And
Get you
can
faceless guy, the 4-mana.
Yeah, you can play a
7/7.
4-drop on turn 1.
You'll have a 9,
With the
10 in
2/3.
stats on turn 1,
Yep.
Classic
and you're
Hearthstone.
overloaded out of your mind.
That's definitely how this thing is going to be used. I'm calling it now. Like, this is going to be used to do that, because that is really broken and horrible, and that is exactly the way people like to play Hearthstone. The way where we abuse the cards into ways that they weren't supposed to be used to do overpowered things.
Yeah, you're telling the chat saying you do nothing on turn 2 though, but like, who cares? You have a 2-drop and a 4-drop. I think you'll be good for a turn. Just saying.
Yeah, so very good card, very broken,
Yeah.
very nice. All right, we have
Coming up
Goody
to,
2 Shields.
Yeah, this is
So
probably
good.
my favorite name for a card so far in this set. I like it a lot. I think it was cute.
Yeah, that thing is
Whatever
really
it is.
scary too, because you have to kill it or it gets extra value from trading and getting another divine shield. It's super annoying and horrible.
Yeah,
Love
that's
it.
another card that's just like, why would you not play it? It's I mean, even if you don't get the spell burst off, it's a 3-mana 4/2 with divine shield. It's still very good. You could compare it to that legendary minion that they have, or that they used to have. They got
The
divine
6-mana 3/6. Oh no, what are you talking about?
I think it was a 4/3. They got divine shield back if one of your other minions lost divine shield.
Are you talking about the Glass Knight? That was a heal, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
it.
something like
Whenever you
that.
healed,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like this is just so
A
easy
better
to
one.
get off compared to that. And
You can have 2.
yeah, this card is super insane. This is what Paladin needed. So I'm glad they got a good card, but is it too good? Probably.
It's really good against Priest for Paladin, because like they can't remove that with like Penance, with Smite, with any Shadow Word, anything. It's so good against Priest for Paladin.
Yeah.
so this goes in aggro, control, everything.
Probably.
I mean, you put Librams on it, like the +1/+1 is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
You
I
could
bet
even
it'll
like,
win games for Priest. Yeah, it'll just scam it. Totally worth it.
yeah. I mean, I'm assuming this is going to be more in a tempo kind of oriented deck, but I guess you never know. Could be in anything. I
They have
guess,
like
yeah.
an S on the shield too, like Superwoman.
Yeah. Got 2 shields. She's upgraded. But like, imagine just like turn 3 playing this, and then it loses divine shield, and then you put a Blessing of Kings on it. Even like, that's pretty crazy. At least it's only a one-time effect, but still, yeah.
No, yeah, this card's nutty. But
10 out of
Paladin's in a
5.
weird spot. Imagine if it was a Murloc.
I'm not
That
going
would
to
actually be. That would actually just be busted. All right, we got the Cult 2 mana, 3/2 battle cry. Your opponent's spells cost 1 more next turn.
I love this card.
Look at that grin on Draco's face when you
It's
pulled
so
that up.
good. This is like favorite card that's came out yet. I'm gonna run it in like all my Demon Hunter decks, just because like getting these out of skulls and just like throwing them on the board as like random minions to like tempo out and stuff will just like really mess with your opponent's turn. Like even for the simplest cards, they're gonna be like, okay, so I'm gonna penance, then heal face, and then they're like, oh shit, now I can't heal my face, and like it eventually, I feel like that card will be like super good for aggro, you know. And the biggest thing I wanted to point out about this, I was talking to Dan about this earlier, is it ruins Highlander's ultimate removal for like everything. So like if you play this on turn 10 against a Highlander deck with a board, they cannot Zephyr's Twisting Nether. They can do the other ones, but they can't Twisting Nether. So you just lock that out as being impossible from playing one. So it's going to be super good.
And the interesting part of that is like if it is turn 10, right? And they do play Zephyrus. He doesn't know that this card was active, right? So he'll still supply you with Nether. It's not going to give you a Flame Strike instead.
Huh.
So he's just going to give you the bad option. So you don't even get a chance to clear the board. It's just going to give you an option you literally cannot play.
Well, that's interesting.
Wait, so he won't read it? Oh, man.
I don't think he takes into account the discounts you have, because one time my opponent had a mana, what's her name? She makes all minions cost 1 more. And I played Zephyrus and it gave me a Tyrion. And I couldn't play Tyrion because he cost 9 mana.
That's even better. This card even works. Like, I mean, I don't think Blizzard wants it to work that. They probably do actually. They said it doesn't read card text, so you're still gonna get a Twisting Nether, aren't you? You're gonna get a 9 mana Twisting Nether.
Yeah. So chat says Zeph knows. So chat says Zeph knows how much mana you have. It does, but it doesn't understand that your spells and or minions cost more until they're in your hand.
Yeah. So it's gonna really screw you.
Yeah. So
really
this just
point.
that's pretty crazy.
I mean, I think he'll still give you like a brawl as well or something like that. But yeah, I didn't think about that. That's really this card's really good. Wow. That's just an indirect nerf to Zephyrus there, but we're talking about like nerfing him anyway. So I guess this is what they had in mind. I don't know.
Card is really good against all. It basically screws over all the Zephyr's turns too. You know, if you think about it, and like the grand scheme of things, it's great. It's wow.
I think this card is going to be played in like any Highlander deck, like we were saying before the podcast, and yeah, it's really good in aggro because it just stops your opponent from just playing their board clears. So. I think it's a really good card. It's Lothab Jr. essentially.
Yes, I know Zephyrus on turn 4 to Shadow Word Death something, because it would make it cost 3 mana. XD.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And also with one last thing.
All right.
It's like with 10 mana cards in general, like Puzzle Box or the new Druid 10 mana spell. This will stop that. So something to keep in mind as well.
Or you can also just play it against spell druids on their 7 mana turn and just like ruin their entire game. That'll probably like stop their like if you play it on turn 7, that's better than a mana burn, you know? Like I don't know. Maybe it's not. Debatable.
Well, this is mana burn does just mana period. This is like really only spells. So it depends on the deck. Like this wouldn't really affect Hunter at all. Hunters have more minions than anything. So it really just depends on the matchup and like what turn you're playing it on. But I feel if you're playing a more aggressive deck, you're going to play this kind of as early as possible to stop them from being able to remove stuff. But it also, like you said, could be used in a tech in a Highlander deck against certain turns. So we'll have to see. But overall, it's a very interesting, good, well-rounded kind of like counterplay-y card, which you like to see from a strategy card game. You like stuff like this being presented, because it allows outs and counterplay that was not available previously.
Incredibly flexible card with an aggressive stat line. It's amazing. All right, we can move.
We went over this card, didn't we? I feel like we've talked about this card
a little bit.
We referenced it.
Yeah.
So gain 2 mana crystals this turn only. Overload 2. The Shaman Druid hybrid spell. which enables more things than any one mind can comprehend on its own. To the point, but I'm sure this is going to be used in a really degenerate way. Somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, this just screams Embiggen. Just being able to cheat out big things. I mean, sure, you're overloaded next turn, but I mean, the impact that it has on that one turn should just be enough to make up for that. And yeah, the fact that this could be used in Druid and in Shaman is there's so many things to think about that they could do. Um, I mean, especially, I mean, also you have to think about the dual class cards as well, like Shando Wildclaw. Um, there's just so many different possibilities with this card, and it's very very good. At least it has a downside though. Like I'm happy about that. Um, I'm just praying that they don't come out with something to alleviate the overload, because that would be pretty not
When
good.
this card gets nerfed, they will make it a gain 1 mana crystal this turn, overload 1 for 0. Calling it.
And what's
Maybe.
What's the difference between it and Innervate?
It can be in both classes, and you can run it with Innervate and itself.
Okay.
I mean, you overload, so it's a little worse, but you get the extra mana crystal. So they're basically valuing 1 extra mana crystal at 2 overload.
Yeah. I mean, this card will
like,
get nerfed, so
it's probably going to get nerfed. Like, I feel like whatever is done with this is going to lead to very degenerate gameplay that people do not like, and cards like this always have that happen.
These 0 mana cards are just tricky cards, man. I don't like 0 mana cards. Every 0 mana card no one likes. There's always problems with 0 mana cards. So what do? Keep the printer rolling, boys. Get these 0 mana cards out of here. Just getting out. By the way, not even mad. Okay, this card, one of my favorites. I think this card is super, super, super good.
This is my favorite card of the that's been released so far. That's been revealed. I mean, of course, I'm a mage player, but mostly I also play other classes, of course. But
like
yeah,
mage.
this card, this card is super good, and it helps out mage with their early game a lot because they don't have too many things to stop the aggression. So I mean, now if you can imagine like a demon hunter putting a guardian augmerchant shield onto an Amani berserker, and then you just ping off the guardian augmerchant, and then you play devolving missiles, and they have like a wisp. I think this card is just so good. It's going to be good for like so many situations. I mean, even against like the Embiggen Druid, or like when they get out like the +4/+4 buff on all their guys, you just devolve them, and you don't have to deal with any of this stuff. It's really good, and you could use it in Shaman as well. So I think this card is just like an auto include in like probably most mage and Shaman decks.
And I didn't even see it was a dual class card. Thank you for pointing that out. I honestly, my eyeballs, I couldn't tell the fucking difference.
It's all
that happened to me too. I didn't realize it was dual class for mage.
I had no idea. This is a whole world of possibilities now. My eyes.
What
have
did
been
you think
opened.
it was?
I thought it was just a mage. I thought it was just a mage spell. That's all I did.
You're the opposite confusion I did, because I thought it was just a shaman card. I was like, oh, cool, they can shaman like devolve arcane missiles, and then eventually I realized I was like, oh, it's both. This is really good for mage.
Yeah, we've ascended to a new level of eyesight. Me and you, Draco.
Yeah, nice. I really like dual class in general because it opens you up to so many different possibilities. There's so much to think about. You just go back. You can go back to Wand Thief and be like, wow, Rogue can get this card now from Wand Thief. Like, there's so many ways to get so many different cards now. Yes, it makes them more random, but also it just makes them more fun in general, and it makes you think about more things. So I really like what they're doing here. Like, we haven't even seen too many cards, and yet there's so many different possibilities that can arise with all these.
Yeah, I mean, they pulled this, I don't want to say directly from Magic, but Magic's been doing stuff like this for a long time now, where they have multiple class sets. They have, some even times 4 or 5 colors in a one deck, which would be crazy in Hearthstone. But like the dual class, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it adds for like, some really great plays, way more combos than previously, spices things up, and I will be interested to see if they like continue the dual class stuff after this, even if it's just like a little bit, or if this is like kind of like a one set only, because they've petered in this a little bit with like the Mean Streets of Gadgetins, where there was like gangs, and they had like certain gangs that could use certain cards.
Gang.
Like yeah, it was like what Shaman, Rogue, Druid had the Lotus guy, and only they could play that Lotus man. So like they've kind of explored this a little bit, but nothing ever like this.
I'm going to bring this up just once. And every time there's a card that references this, I'm just going to mention that. But this is also an indirect buff to Wild Quest Mage, which doesn't need to happen because it's going to be coming out of all the magic tricks. And so playing against that in Wild, now you're going to also have to play around devolving missiles coming out of magic trick all the time. So, yeah, shout out to everyone in Wild who hates playing against Quest Mage. It just got worse. So.
Well, hopefully the other decks get better as well, so it's not as much of an issue. But
that doesn't usually seem to be the trend in Wild, man. Like, it's not like Quest Mage is just the best deck always until Demon Hunter comes around the corner, and then now he's gone again. So now it's Time Warp Palooza. So that's just the Wild meta.
Sounds
always.
like fun.
Yeah, who would have known skipping your opponent's turn entirely would break the Wild game? Who would have ever thought skipping your opponent's turn, chat? Wouldn't be us. We didn't see that one coming. Man. Yay! My favorite card, well, one of them so far, Troublemaker. 8 mana, 6/8. Big beefy boy. At the end of your turn, summon 2 3/3 Rough Riders that attack random enemies.
The Ruffians. I think the art on this card is great. He looks like a troublemaker. He does.
You see the little Murloc at the bottom left? It's so great.
I do. I noticed that now. Yeah.
Look at this little guy.
Oh man, I didn't see them.
Look at this
now I feel
little
bad.
It looks just like this thing. Look, like.
Drago's freaking out.
It looks like this thing, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Just like it. It's the same thing.
Does it make any noise?
You're famous. No, it doesn't make noise.
Oh.
I don't know.
Cue
Now
him a
that you
gurgle.
notice, now that you point out that Murloc there, this card, the art seems a little too violent. I might have to ask my mom if I can play this game. Because like, it looks like he's about to put an axe through this Murloc, and that's kind of scary to me. I feel bad for the Murloc now. I don't know.
Yeah. That card is, this is like Ragnaros, right? That's what I was talking about before we went on the podcast. I was like, is Warrior going to run this? It's like probably better than Ragnaros and Warrior because you get 3/3 bodies on the side of it. I can imagine this card being so good that people run it in like normal or whatever the top Warrior deck is. Like maybe just one of it, maybe 2 of it. But if you can't answer the really weird board state that it creates, it just spirals the entire game out of control and it just keeps doing face damage and stuff. So probably one of the best Warrior cards that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it has like a soft taunt too. Like you have to remove it or else it's going to keep smacking you with those 3/3s. I mean, you could silence it with maybe the neutral silence that they come out with. Wink, wink. But this card, I mean, you look at just the base stats, a 6/8, and then you add the 6/6 to it. And I can't do math, but I think it's 12/14, and that's pretty good for 8 mana.
It's like having a Grand Slam at the end of every turn. Like, because that's what it reminds me of, because you send out all the things to attack random things that have 3 attack. I mean, yes, they don't have 5 health, but it's very similar, right?
Yeah.
The Grand Slam.
I think Control Warrior is coming, and I think Bulwark, the weapon, is going to be played as well.
It's in his background, by the way. I noticed that as well. Bulwark's on the wall behind him, right here.
Oh wow, very neat, very cool card.
Wow.
I bet it'll have great like voice lines, like when it attacks and when you summon it and stuff. Like I can't imagine what it's gonna say, but with the name Troublemaker, I would imagine. I mean, look, it even has a Pokemon reference.
Yeah,
in the
the
flavor
freaking
text.
Team Rocket thing.
That's already sick. So I don't know what it's gonna say, but I bet it'll be funny.
No, yeah, I like this card. I'm gonna play him in Dimensional Ripper Warrior, and it's gonna be amazing.
Somebody in chat said that the Troublemaker could be the Murloc.
That's true. And then that dude right there is just like his friend. The Murloc with 6'8" stats.
Yeah, he doesn't look worried at all. He looks happy to be there. He's good to go, dude. He's like, yeah, that's my pal. He'll never hurt me.
He's not in the right place right now.
No.
He's about to get stepped on by a giant like orc dude. Poor guy. All right, we got two more cards.
We got the first day of school. 0 mana. Love that. Wow. Fresh from the printer. Love to see it. Add 2 random 1-cost minions to your hand. How do we feel about this?
Yeah, it's like the expansion is creating the whole. It's like you're gonna use all the cards in the expansion to create your deck. Like, slam 2 first day schools in there, slam 2 goody 2 shields. I'm sure they're gonna come out with some other things for a tempo kind of paladin deck, because this is just perfect for it. I mean, you play it on turn 1, you get to play the thing that you get. You could even coin out another one. You could get some crazy things too, right? You can get Wand Thief, which combos out with it right away.
It makes the pure paladin reliably able to be aggressive as well. Because the problem with pure paladin was that you can only run like Aldor Attendant, the Murloc or nothing else, right? That was the only 1-drops you could have. And now this card for 0, it even allows you on coin to potentially use both of the 1-drops on turn 1, which is kind of like one of those flexibilities you need to be able to do as an aggro deck in a mirror. So really insane.
Yeah, how frustrating would it be if you're playing like a Murloc deck and someone goes first day of school and gets 2 Hungry Crabs?
What if they go first day of school and get 2 Battle Fiends and then coin out the Angler? That would be pretty cool too, you know?
There's so many scenarios that could arise with this. Not looking forward to it, but it's
and this is just the first day of school. Like, my gosh.
Imagine the second day. Jeez.
Oh, and the third day? Oh my goodness. Oh,
I like the name of the card a lot, though. It's pretty cute.
What's the tag on it? Report to the bookstore to buy your books, the alchemist to buy your potions, and then get your wands at the Wandery room.
It's got to be a reference to something we don't get, guys. You know, like, because it's never just random. You know, like this is directly from something.
No,
if anyone knows in chat, please help us out.
I don't know. I think it's cool that they're making like their academy, their own kind of thing. It kind of throws me back to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX when they had the Yu-Gi-Oh! Academy or whatever with the different freaking you know, like they have like the red one and the blue one and the yellow one. So I don't know. It's kind of
colors.
Cool
what are you speaking? They got the blue and the green.
You know what I'm saying.
I have no idea what you're spitting out.
You never watched Yu-Gi-Oh! GX?
No, I stopped after the whole the green and the blue and the red. That's when I left out.
What? No, I mean this was like the second. This was like the second series of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, I left after what was it? Seto Kaiba. That's what it was. The tournament he had with the old Egyptian gods. Yeah, I was done after that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was debatably the best one. So you
really
missed out. You may want to check it out. In my opinion, it was the best series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything else after that I could care less. But yeah, it was really cool the fact that like there were these. It was a school for Yu-Gi-Oh! And like as a kid, it was like wow, like I want this to be real so badly because I love Yu-Gi-Oh! And like if like my homework is like making a new deck, like that's sick.
Yeah, I got you. No, that is cool.
Yeah.
my friend, I don't know why this got brought up, but my friend had talked about, he saw like a recent episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's gotten so insane now that they're like on hoverboards, like flying through the valley. And then they were like, his turn 1 was like 5 minutes long of the episode. And then after turn 2, the girl, he beat her. And instead of like her losing, she like exploded and flew off and like died in the valley. And whoever's just still on their hoverboard riding, like, that was a good duel. It's like, Jesus God, what happened to this show? They were on hoverboards going over valleys and people were exploding. Like,
and the loser like turns into a fidget spinner that the other person gets. And,
like, what the hell happened here, guys? We used to be playing a children's card game. Oh,
now
shit.
it sounds kind of like Rocket Power influenced and stuff.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Hoverboards and insane. Onyx Mage Scribe. This is the card name.
6 mana, 4/9. Spell Burst. Add 2 random spells from your class to your hand. Sometimes you gotta spend spells to earn spells.
It's a Dargon.
Well, if you already hated on priest generating spells, you're gonna hate it even more now because this is literally, it might as well be white because this is a priest card. This is gonna be run in priest 100%.
I can't really think of where else you'd really want it. It's
I mean, maybe mage. I don't even think you need it. I think it might be too slow, but I mean the stats are so good, like 9 health.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
I feel like any deck that can play this is gonna like not have the hand space for the cards. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like any deck that can, afford to pack in a 6 mana 4/9 that gives you value is probably gonna be like, well, I already have 10 cards in my hand. So.
Well, the cool part about this card is like you don't have to activate an ability. Like you just play them on turn 6, and if they don't kill them, you can just activate them later on. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to play them. You don't have to get the spell burst immediately.
Yeah, that's why spell burst is such an interesting mechanic because you can just throw it down and it basically has soft taunt for most of these cards.
Yeah.
I don't know if this one does.
Not as much maybe as the other ones, but I mean 2 spells, especially if you don't have like any cards in your hand. It's gonna be a direct target to get.
It's a reverse thought steal.
Yeah.
It's kind of good for the priest mirror. Like if you have this in your deck and they don't, then it will help you beat them, which is a scary concept to think about because like priest mirrors are already really horrifying to most of us Hearthstone players. But like these make it go longer. And it also challenges their removal with the 9 health stat line and the 4 attack. So it's bad to be. It's going to go in priest, but it's good against priest in priest.
I see him just as like the dragon tag is the most important part about this card because like, anything that makes a dragon can now make this guy, and then he makes 2 more cards. So now we go like down the rabbit hole of like dragon creates spell, creates minion, creates dragon. So it just adds more to the rabbit hole.
Lackey into this,
spells.
So the dragon tag on this, I think, is the most prevalent thing that
all the
makes this card
explorers
scary.
Can turn into this.
Yeah,
Warshack's really good at finding these scenarios that really hurt me inside. But it's good because it prepares me for when it actually happens. So I'm not going to be as sad. So thank you, Warshack.
No problem.
It's not really bad in like if you were playing like Highlander Hunter against like a priest or something too as well. Like you could go that route with your Primordial Explorer and it might actually work out. But yeah, that's scary to think about it being generated off of the Discovered Dragons because Draconic. Oh man, every lackey class gets it too.
And the transfer student, he also has that.
The transfer student can
discover a dragon.
So. Yeah, that's true.
Well, I guess we're gonna see this card whether we want to or not.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see this card a lot.
Will be played.
Yeah. You don't need to play this card to play this card. Just like you got to spend spells to earn. All right.
Oh my God, Draconic Lackey into Titanic Lackey onto that would be like. That is true. That is very scary about Rogue. Is hitting that with a Titanic Lackey is like catastrophic for aggro. Cool. Neat.
Yeah,
right,
one little thing to touch on just before we conclude the thing here is just the card Transfer Student that's already out. If you didn't see, the new Scholomance board that's going to be coming
What did
out.
you say?
When Transfer Student is played on that, he will discover. I think it's discover. Is it discover or add a random one, Draco?
Wait, what was your question? Sorry.
For Transfer Student on the new board, does he discover one or does he add a random one? Do you know?
With the lackey?
No. On the new board where he gives you a dual class card.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it just gives a random one to your hand. You don't get to discover one.
Okay.
That would be so scary, dude.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I mean, it's scary in general because there's going to be a lot of dual class cards, and you never know what the hell classes you're going to get a mixture of. So, I mean, if you run Transfer Student in like a Demon Hunter, you could get Devolving Missiles or something, or you could get Lightning Bloom. Oh my god!
I thought it had to be class specific though. So Transfer Student can give you a dual class card not of your class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Exactly.
So yeah, that would be pretty crazy to get Lightning
like if
Bloom
if it's discover, then it has to be from your class or neutral. But if it's random, then it's from anything.
Okay.
Lightning Bloom is definitely going to get nerfed because if everyone runs these things and then other people are discovering Lightning Bloom to like cheat out things that shouldn't be done early, and then it just becomes this thing that happens to everyone that shuts out games, it's going to be really ridiculous because that generating it randomly puts it in every class. So
yeah, that's some shenanigans.
Yeah. But that's all the cards there, and I think like even though we see a lot of really powerful cards, I mean, if all the classes are powerful, then like everything's balanced, right? So I don't know. I think I think these cards look like a lot of fun so far. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Yeah, overall, I'm satisfied with what I see, and like it's already only 3 more days until we see more cards.
Yes, and we should get a Demon Hunter card that day, I think. Sorry. Anyway, we probably have enough time to do Q&A because we did start a little bit late here. So what do you guys think?
I'm fine for like 1 or 2 questions of Q&A.
We can take 1 or 2 questions.
Load them up, guys.
Load them up. Load them up.
I mean, the elongated beatdown, we haven't seen any Demon Hunter cards yet, so we'll have to see. I mean, there's going to be Demon Hunter and Hunter, like Demon Hunter / Hunter dual class cards, which I'm assuming are going to be pretty aggressive, so we'll see. We'll see.
If any of you guys like playing Demon Hunter out here, just so you guys know about something that we've been talking about in my Discord, is that there's this character in WoW called Alari, the Soul Eater, and they kind of might be releasing her as a card. We've kind of seen things that look like her in the previews, and we were hoping, and she has a scythe instead of Warglaive, so we're hoping that the Demon Hunter weapon collab is Alari, the Soul Eater scythe. So
for 5 mana. Summon 2 5/5s with Rush, Divine Shield,
okay,
Taunt.
not this again.
It'd be sweet if it was a legendary Demon Hunter and Hunter weapon, and it was a scythe. I would just be so happy with whatever effect it did. As long as I could play it in any deck, I would just be happy.
Yeah, a Scythe Golden would be. I'm assuming that would look beautiful.
Oh yeah, it'd be great.
I have a question for Warshack.
You are like a question from chat that's directed at
me. Me.
Oh, okay. All right, my ears
Where did you get that shirt? It looks wonderful.
The shirt I have now? The button up?
Where'd you get it?
I don't know. I think it's a Calvin Klein shirt, but I got it like so. All right, this is an honesty room. We're gonna speak the truth right here. All right, listen here. So I'm not a big shopper. So a lot of these shirts that I have are actually the shirts that I also happen to wear in high school. And like, yeah, that's it. So, so all of these, like all of the polos that I have, the Calvin Klein, I am the same physical stature I was in high school. So I actually there's no new clothes, but yeah. So I think this is Calvin Klein, but anyway, I don't know how that was relevant.
But I just that good taste throughout your whole life. So that's
thank you.
Kudos to you. Yeah.
Jago Tiles, do you think they will release more support for Demon Hunter, Suicide Damage, Swarm Minions? I do predict that there will be some token influencing cards for Demon Hunter, considering they wanted that to be one of the powers of the class, and it's not really getting there yet. So I would imagine so. Yes. What do you hope the Paladin Warrior card does? That's a really interesting question.
It's hard. I just don't want it to be like, I don't want Warrior to get healing, but I feel like that might happen. Like, Warrior is supposed to have armor and Paladin's supposed to have healing. So if they're gonna, do what that kind of means, that means Warrior's gonna get a little bit of healing and Paladin's gonna get some armor. Like, and I don't.
It's like a 5 mana heal 5, gain 5 armor. That'd be interesting.
It just sounds like, and it's not. While that is probably it'll be good, right? Like it's not
like
fun.
A card.
It's not like a fun mechanic, right? It doesn't do anything. I want cards that do stuff that make the game pop and are fun, like Transfer Student.
Yeah.
I mean, they could go like a different direction. There's so many ways you could go with it. Like they could go the route of like healing or armor, or they could have it interact with like damaged minions or something, so that now Paladin can interact with their own damage guys. I don't know.
You'll be super OP that if they did, but it will be very unique. If it was deal 1 damage to all minions, heal all for 1. So it like did like a bomb wrangler thing, but then heals it back up and it triggers everything's attack. That would be really weird.
Yeah.
Like super on flavor.
Yeah, see? Okay, cool. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. Do the whole enrage healing thing.
Yeah, enrage everything really quick and heal them back up.
How would that really help Paladin though?
I don't know. Help Warrior a lot,
Okay, well, there's another class in this equation. So
well, I mean, no one
Unless
actually cares about printing Paladin cards to support Paladin ever, man. So that doesn't even really matter in this situation. I would imagine they'd probably make the Paladin Warrior card a Warrior card and be like, and Paladin can use it. That's on flavor.
Well, you could just give him Divine Shield then. Deal 2 damage to 2 of your minions, or deal 1 damage to each of your minions. Heal it back up. Give him Divine Shield, or give him Divine Shield. I don't know.
That
would be really scary, dude.
Yeah.
What you're theorizing right there, it sounds like some kind of end game like win condition for an enrage deck. But I like it.
Okay, well, it costs 4 or 5 mana. I don't know, man.
It's gotta cost more than that.
Hey, man, you cheat out spells as a mage player. I don't want to hear you talking about cost. You don't pay
do you think
nothing.
this expansion will push out Gala packages? I think it's been confirmed that there's not going to be any more Gala support ever since Descent of Dragons. They kind of low-key said that. So I doubt it. But for the actual decks that exist, probably. Like, I'm sure Gala Rogue will probably still be good with, like, the Wand Thief and stuff, Like, that's in that deck, so it will be.
But we won't see any more Invoke at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the last question that I see here that's, like, really good. It's a really good question. Where can I find the Metabreaker podcast on YouTube? Damn.
Yeah,
if only there was a YouTube channel that compiled all of these podcasts and brought them to you edited. If there was something like that, that would be totally nifty. Oh, wait.
I can post links in chat now that I'm a mod, can't I?
You can. All right, you got it covered then.
There you go, guys. Man,
there you
this
guys
is so much
go.
easier now. We don't have to enable it and stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
Bro.
Okay, cool. Well, I think we tackled all the questions. I think we got a lot done in this podcast. We covered a lot of juicy details, gave a lot of insight. And next podcast, we will have even more cards for you guys to cover as they will be released. We will cover them every Sunday. We'll round them up, talk about them, and deliver to you only the highest quality, meta-breaking, super awesome, ultimate giga podcast action sauce. So thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out.
Thank you guys. Right. We might change where we do the podcast sometimes and change it up, but we'll post everywhere when that happens too. So.
Oh yeah, should we mention that or just that?
I feel like we wing everything, so we might as well mention it that we might do the stream on DMoney's stream sometime.
Yes,
the Metabreakers thing, right?
Yeah, we might go for the switch up.
Switch up every once in a while.
You guys still stay around if you want to join our Discord, join the Metabreakers Discord. That we really don't update too much, but it'll probably announce that we're going live on my channel and everything like that. So,
we
yeah.
do all write in our own individual Discords. I know, like whenever we do the podcast live, and we always link it, we put it on Twitter and stuff too. So if we do change it up, we'll let you guys know ahead of time, just so that we're all in the right place. So
Yeah.
Yes.
thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Awesome. I will see you and talk to you guys soon. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good stream later today. D-Money, you've been killing it.
Yeah, just another
Later,
day.
Draco.
No, but yeah, it was a good talk. I hope you both have a great day as well, and I hope everybody in chat stays safe and all that jazz.
Yes. Thanks
See
for
you guys in
having
the
me.
next one. Yeah.
See you guys later. Peace.
Later, Gators.